So here's the first one. The system is designed to support new ways of knowing, doing, and becoming for children, teachers, and leaders. Now, I'm going to go quickly through this. If this feels like something you want to dig more deeply in, we have lots of resources. People at your table have learned more about this also. But here's the high level. Often we think about children's learning, and everyone's learning, but children's learning in this case as what content knowledge do they need and what skills do they need. We're adding this becoming layer. This, how do we want children to see themselves and their role in mathematics, the classroom, the school, community, society? This is, who do I see myself as? Do I see myself as someone who's connected? Do I see myself as someone who's a problem solver? Do I see myself as someone who can play a role in solving problems in my classroom or the world, right? And here's the thing, they're all intersecting. You can't actually separate these. This is a really different way to think about learning than we often think about learning, and it's been embedded in our system. That's something we have done that's different and innovative and matters. Here's a quote from one of our EMSs about a change they saw this year. And I just want to use it to exemplify this knowing, doing, becoming piece. You went from kids not wanting to share to having too many kids to even know who to call on to share, okay? That is not the result of just knowing more things. That is not the result of just knowing how to do something. It also has this, it does have those two, but it also has a layer of I belong, I matter, I can contribute. And that is what we're starting to build here, and that matters, okay? Just teaching kids some more math content would not have created that change. Here's what's important about this. We think about it for teachers also. Teachers also need to know, do, and become in new ways. And we also think about it for leaders, all the way, including myself, right? We're knowing, doing, and becoming. How do we need to change the way we see ourselves, and our role in this work is crucial. If leaders are not changing how we're doing our role, then teachers are not going to change what they're doing, and kids are going to have the same thing they've always had. Okay? This is embedded into our learning, so there's no way you're going to read this, but this is a messy space that the EMSs played in to unpack the goal of what's the complexity of learning in supporting children to engage in each other's ideas? What do teachers need to learn? This is a robust understanding of what we're trying to support our teachers to learn that's way more powerful than if we just said, teachers need to learn how to do number corner, okay? This is part of the learning we're doing. It's part of what's different about our work is that we're really digging deep into what is the learning involved for all of our learners in a different way. This is what we did not do. We did not just train our teachers on number corner, right? So here's where we're going to ask to raise some voices up from around the room. If you were part of the learning in this system, I'm going to ask you to pull out a device. And I'm hoping we just get a long list of all the things that you learned about in part of these learning systems, okay? So here's the Slido. There's a QR code or to join at the bottom. And I just want you to list out for yourself, if you were in any of these learning spaces, what did you learn? What are the different things you remember learning about? And while we have our folks writing in there, we also have someone who's going to share out loud.
Are we good? Okay. So I think I have a unique perspective because I was on the early math task force, so I was part of from the beginning with the early math essentials, and then I was also, before I came into this role, an ISD math consultant. So what was different about this project than the things I've done the past 8 years is that, like you just said about the knowing, doing, becoming, it wasn't just about taking Essential 6 and knowing what it is, like knowing it's a brief interactive number sense or doing a number talk. It was about helping teachers to become more facilitators of student thinking and do less talking themselves and more listening to the kids.
Thank you, Marianne. And I hope what you heard in what Marianne said and what you're seeing on the board, the screen here, is our leaders in these learning spaces were not just I don't see Number Corner up there at all, okay? We were not just learning about Number Corner and how to have it happen in classrooms, which is often what initiatives do. We were learning a whole bunch of stuff about the complexity of teacher learning, about the messiness of changing instruction, about what kids need to be learning. That was what our learning was about, and that is part of what makes our story really different. So I see 13 people still typing. We're going to let a few more things come up here. And what I hope you're noticing, and you're actually seeing, I love that it starts to count. We see teachers up there, we see students up there, we see educators up there. I see the word messy is really frequent. Leaders have to learn about all of those people's learning. That's important too. If we didn't experience math the way we're hoping teachers are starting to teach math, then we also have to learn about that part, right? Okay. We are going to, these are super powerful. We are going to make sure these come out into our space in other ways too. So thank you for sharing those.